Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Super Bowl hype. So we got a whole bunch of trailer stuff that's coming, and they confirm that they're making a Miles Morales movie. So I'm gonna explain what's going on. There's a new round of the Spider-Man giveaway going on now. It's a $20 Comixology gift card. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. Be sure to click that bell to enable alerts so that you don't miss anything. This is so great. If you guys forgot, the Super Bowl is coming up really soon. So number 10, new trailers. Sony has a history of buying Super Bowl spots for its Spider-Man movies, which have typically been summer movies. But usually what they do is they buy like a 30-second spot that'll air during the Super Bowl, and then they'll post something longer online. If you wonder why they're so short, it's just because the price of buying that airtime for an advertisement, which is what the trailer is, it's basically an ad for the movie, is astronomical. It is the most expensive ad you could possibly buy, something during the Super Bowl. So those tend to be really short, but it's a lot cheaper for them to just post stuff online. So whatever ends up dropping, I'll do a video for it. Along with that, number 9, Marvel might also choose to do a Guardians of the Galaxy Super Bowl trailer because that's coming out way sooner than Spider-Man Homecoming. Marvel has been a lot cheaper, the way it spends money on stuff like that. So last year, there was a bunch of Super Bowl Captain America Civil War stuff. There'll probably be some similar Guardian stuff, but maybe not quite as much. Even if it doesn't drop during the Super Bowl, they'll be posting stuff online. There's just so many people that are paying attention to what's happening online during that weekend that everybody tries to get in on the action. So that's why everybody makes such a big deal about Super Bowl trailers. Number 8 though, the Miles Morales news. So they just confirmed that he's going to get his own standalone movie. They didn't say how Peter Parker's going to be involved or what characters they'll use, but the people that are writing it are the people that did the Lego movie that are doing the upcoming Han Solo movie. So I am already on board. It's going to be awesome. The press release just said that it's going to be a lot of fun and it will coexist with the live action universe. They're talking about the MCU in the Spider-Man films. So that doesn't explain a whole lot, but just in the name of logic and sanity, you can pick a couple things out of that. So most of you probably already know all about the character and his origins, but you have to imagine that a lot of people have no idea who he is, so if he were to roll up in a Spider-Man costume, they'd be like, why is Spider-Man's costume different? So whatever they do with the story, the way they market the movie, it will all be to help people understand and go see it, because it'll be like a big Sony animated feature. So number 7, what it seems like they're doing is just pretending like it's its own thing off by itself, even though all the creative's the same with the MCU people, but because it's animated, they can do whatever they want. They can get way crazier, but it's not like they're cheaping out on the live action films. They spent $250 million making Captain America Civil War. That whole airport battle scene was mostly done in a computer. That's how much money they spent on that. But animation is just a lot easier. They have a lot more control over it. In the name of sanity, they'll probably choose to do different villains though. So the good thing about Miles Morales though is that he has pretty much the same group of villains that Peter Parker had, but it's the Ultimates universe, so they all look just a little bit different, even though it's the same basic people. But number 6, just because this is like a brand new thing and the character isn't as well known as Peter Parker, they will probably do an origin story, unlike Spider-Man Homecoming, where he's already been Spider-Man for a little while. So the very first big arc that Miles Morales had was Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2. You can actually go read it if you want. But basically what happened is Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe had died, and then a much younger, high school age Miles Morales had looked up to him and was bitten by a radioactive spider just like Peter Parker was. He got powers, so because Peter had fallen and he admired him so much, he took the mantle to honor him. But during his first adventure, he gets his ass hauled into S.H.I.E.L.D. by Spider-Woman saying, "Who the hell are you in this Spider-Man costume?" So all of Peter's friends were just like, what the hell is going on with this kid? Where did you get your powers? Where did you come from? But then nearby, in a separate cell, Electro goes haywire and starts attacking all the heroes. Miles helps take him down, so then they start to trust him. He goes back to his family, and the rest of his early arc is just coming to terms with who his family is. He has criminals in his family. His uncle is the Prowler, responsible for the spider bite that gave him powers in the first place, and he's just trying to be a kid. So it's kind of like what's happening in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. So you have a brand new Spider-Man who's still in high school, just trying to figure things out and still be a kid and hang out with his friends at the same time. And the funny thing is a lot of you have noticed that Spider-Man Homecoming has borrowed a lot of elements from the Miles Morales comic book. So his best friend is Ned Leeds. He looks exactly like Miles Morales' best friend, Ganke, who's a completely different character. So number 5, what they'll probably do is just adapt some of that initial origin story run for Miles Morales and maybe swap in a couple different characters just so they don't end up doing the exact same people as the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. What I am expecting, though, is that the animated Marvel Universe will aesthetically look very similar to the live-action universe. It's still New York City, so you know what New York City looks like in the live-action universe. But just like the Netflix shows, you go to different parts of New York City, they all feel very different. All the Netflix shows have a very different tone. So I'm expecting the Spider-Man Homecoming movie to be the same thing. Like, it'll be Spider-Man, it'll still be very familiar, but it'll also have a slightly different tone, even though you're in and around the same area. Speaking of which, number 4, they said it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that definitely means that they will not kill Peter Parker to create Miles Morales. So that'll be like a slight change from the comic book origin story. Just think about how much of a bummer note that would be to start on, where you have a bunch of little kids that just got done seeing Tom Holland in Avengers Infinity War, and they see this opening scroll explaining how Spider-Man is dead and he's never coming back. So many people would just bail. It would be the worst thing ever. So what they'll probably do is they'll find a way to include the Peter Parker character, but he will be older. The whole idea is that Miles Morales is the little kid learning to be a Spider-Man superhero, while Peter Parker is this battle-hardened version of the character. And I know I name-dropped Infinity War. They haven't confirmed when this new movie is going to be released, but it'll probably be sometime in the next year or two, just depending on how long it takes to finish the animation. So I think that it'll drop sometime after Infinity War. So you'll have already seen Tom Holland in 3 big movies. Number 3, what about villains though? Who would be the big villain? Like I said, it's the Ultimate Universe. He has all the same characters. They would probably just opt to do Ultimate Green Goblin, do Norman Osborn, even though when Miles Morales' story gets started in the comics, he's kind of in prison. But it seems like the Spider-Man Homecoming movie is not going to do Green Goblin for a long time. So you want to go with the big villain that you recognize. Green Goblin is the solid pick. But I always get a lot of questions about this. Yes, I do think that they will do Green Goblin in the live-action movies eventually. There's going to be 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man Homecoming movies. I think they'll definitely get to him eventually, but they're going to take their time. We've already seen 2 versions of Norman Osborn in the last iterations of Spider-Man, so I don't think they want to go there right away with this brand new version of the character. But number 2, because it's animation, they can actually borrow actors from the live-action universe. So they haven't confirmed anything about who's going to be playing who. They haven't cast Miles Morales yet, but they could totally bring Donald Glover back. I don't think that he would play Miles Morales just because he's a little bit older. They'll probably cast a little kid to do the voice. And speaking of awesome Spider-Man facts, did you know that it was the Russos of Captain America Civil War that told Dan Harmon to cast Donald Glover way back for season 1 of Community before he blew up and became a big star? So it all comes back around. Now Donald Glover's in the MCU, even though he's not being directed by the Russos, but it's just funny how things work out that way. So what about the Avengers though? Like, would they actually have Avengers from the live-action movies voice their roles in the animated movie? They could do that, but I don't think that they will. And I think they'll try to keep it as simple as possible, even though the Avengers and all the big characters will exist in the animated universe. So they'll probably find a way to include them without doing it in a way that's going to confuse everyone that's also seeing Infinity War that same year, where it's like, hey, all these characters are here. How can they also be off in Infinity War doing all this other stuff? So they'll find a really simple way around that. But number 1, sequels. So if this first one is successful, you can expect a Miles Morales standalone franchise that also sort of like lives with the Tom Holland franchise without stepping on its toes too much. But even though they haven't said what the title is going to be, I'm just expecting them to call it Ultimate Spider-Man. It's just the most simple thing ever, but they could choose to go with a different subtitle. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about Miles Morales? Which characters do you want them to use? Which story arc do you want them to adapt? And what do you want them to call the movie? I feel like Ultimate Spider-Man is just the easiest thing for them to go with. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening next. There's going to be a new Logan trailer, so I'll totally do a video for that. But I'll say congratulations to the new Spider-Man giveaway winner. Bonard, you win a $20 Comixology gift card. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. I'm still trying to slowly hypnotize people into reading more comic books. So new Logan trailer coming in a little while. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here to learn all about Deadpool 2, and you can click here to rewatch that Injustice 2 trailer. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.